Yeah, it says that the live stream is offline, streamed live less than a minute ago.
Okay, let's see.
Skip
Refresh
ahead
again.
to live. It should
It's saying it's starting, and I believe it's
streamed live
loading.
less than a minute ago.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah. It's
we're back. Okay,
yeah.
sorry about that, people. If you're watching this part after the first part, um,
Yeah, you
but
might have to save this as two parts or something because I
yeah,
don't think we saved anything.
yeah. Um, but basically, the whole thing with the promise is being set up. We're finally getting full context to a lot of different things, like the Tafari. I can't remember if that was actually mentioned in the earlier part that you would have read, but basically, there's this little genie-like character that when you get to the seven walls, he is the one that is granting the promise.
I see.
But you know how the monkey paw situation kind of works out, where
Yeah,
it's not quite what you expect, or the grantor wants something in return for what they're giving.
I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, man.
So this is what he does, and for that is well, okay, I guess he's more of a god than a genie, but the wish granting aspect, you know, what it, you know. But anyway, put some respect on him, I guess. He looks like the Index from Soul Eater to me. I've always said that. Um,
Oh, okay.
just with horns. But anyway, the let's see before I get off track again. Um, these disconnects. Um, so yeah,
They are real. The
um,
disconnects are real.
you have Julius and you have Iverk. They go to the seven walls. They're setting up the promise. Um, and basic. Let's see. I have to remember exactly what Iverk's part of it was. Like I remember what he has to give in return, but I can never remember what it was. Um, let's see. Uh, let's see. Uh, oh, it's. I think he's the one that wanted. Or no, wait. Maybe that is their promise together. So it's not two separate wishes in this regard, kind of. But they each have. They each uh, will essentially give a reward to the god, because they're both a part of it. So I'm guessing if there were seven people that were included in this promise, he'd get seven rewards. You know. So, um, to divide the world into two, which is what we know to have happened, all that good stuff. Iverk has to do the the Tafari, which is that festival that happens presumably every year. I think. Uh, so yeah, and basically it's just basically the godlike character wants the greatest quality meat that even the king himself would not be allowed to eat. Just give it to me. Which you can imagine
Well,
what that meat is. It's our high quality trio.
mm-hmm.
So they would have been on that dinner table.
That's some Alice in Wonderland shit going down.
Yeah, Richard's mentioning the whole thing of like, we're not sure how the world is separated. Like, it was mentioned earlier that there were pathways linking the
Yep.
two worlds, so I'm not sure if maybe there's like the planet was literally split in half and that like there's some tunnels or something, like, or bridgeways connecting them, who knows. um but yeah, we need more context for certain aspects, but there was a lot of connections finally being fully filled in this two-part flashback. um but yeah, so that was what Iverk has to do, and we've seen the Tafari. It's being set up to happen like any day now in the present part of the series. So, um, but then we find out what Julius has to do. It's like, okay, for your reward, I will be getting. You will become the representative for essentially like satisfying the needs of the children and everything, where all the supplies come from, essentially. He's the representative bringing stuff from the human world to the farms, and his family will have to do that forever.
Wow. I wouldn't want that gig.
Yes, and Richard and me have had some discussions in the last 24 hours of like, I still think he's a bastard. Like, there could have been a better way, but it was for the greater good and all that, so I'm kind of getting over it. But and that's not even the only part of this chapter that was problematic. But the mental turmoil and the burden that this family has endured now for 1,000 years. It's like, how do they deal with this? So that's an element I didn't think about initially. So it could be an interesting plot twist. And now that we know of Peter, who is the current head of the family, he is the biggest bastard, I think, in the series. So, currently, so maybe there's a reason for that.
Maybe.
But yeah. And then finally, the last of the chapter revolves around Emma, and she's making her new promise. And
Mhm.
I kind of don't want to spoil it for you, but it kind of has to be said because it's kind of a big point. She wants just, and I think Richard pointed out that
The
there's
D.
no, she doesn't want the D.
Okay, she wants the A, B, C leading up to the D. I don't know.
Um, but apparently there's like a weird disparity between certain translations, but more or less she want, at least in the manga stream sub or dub, not dub, shit, translation. Her wish is she wants that every cattle child to be sent to the human world, and then after that, all movement between the worlds be closed off completely. Now
Okay.
that has some issues because we don't know how this world is set up. Is it like the bridge idea? Is the planet split in half? Is there a giant wall that separates the two? We don't know. So I'm thinking this might lead to World War Demon, where the demons start invading the human world, and then everything Emma wanted to solve has now been completely made moot. When she could have just easily made a simpler thing, because like how she basically got two concepts in one. Like, okay, first take away the demon's desire to want or need human meat. Okay?
Hmm.
And then there's a bit of a plot point of them de-evolving. If they don't consume human meat, they'll start just becoming a lesser being. So take away that element as well, and then you're pretty good, because
Yeah.
you're running into another problem. All of these children are going to be strangers in a new land. They're going to, especially if the invasion idea takes place. So
Right, exactly.
it's like, oh, look, some weird children have arrived. Oh, wait, they're from the farms. What the hell? What's going on here? So they're going to be outcasts. And then if the invasion occurs, then they're going to be attacked, ostracized even further because they brought this upon them. It's like, you brought the fall of humanity, you little bastards.
Hmm.
And yeah. So that's kind
Well,
of where it is right now. Like, it could easily turn into that, or I don't know. and we don't even know exactly what it is that uh, the god is going to get in return for this. That's he's just like, I will grant your wish at the end. So we have no idea what Emma's going to have to do in return.
Hmm.
So, and like, what if she has to basically be like the Retry clan for the last 1,000 years, where she didn't has to maybe look over her flock, as it were, for all time, and then that leading to
Right.
probably having some issues because she's 12 years old. It's like, how do you take care of hundreds upon thousands of people? So,
Hmm.
yeah. So yeah, that was basically the Promised Neverland. It was something, to say the least.
It was something.
uh, but anything else you read this week?
Well, of course, I kept up with my Black Clover and Doctor Stone, but there wasn't really a whole lot to talk about either one, which is why I didn't really do a behind the bar review
Mm-hmm.
for either one. Um, I guess I'll just say Black Clover. I mean, the whole we get a version of another devil, assuming coming out of Asta's sword, or it could have been from the
Oh,
Dimensional Slash. Hard to say. But it's hard to say where this thing came from. Most likely Asta. And there was a bit of a, oh, who is this guy? Because he calls the devil, the person in the that they were fighting, calls him senpai, or elder or something like that. It's like, oh, you're not looking too hot there, senpai. So we'll see you later, loser, sort of idea. And then
God.
the devil disintegrates. So clearly there is another of the devil clan residing in Asta. That's probably something to do with Asta's black form or something. So there is that. But the rest of the chapter was them just trying to escape the falling debris sort of idea. As far as Dr. Stone goes, they're trying to decipher a message because at the end of the day, remember that a lot of these people are still primitive and nobody has actually the written word is still something that's not been used yet. And even though Senku has been trying to teach with his kingdom of science, he's been trying to teach the written word, it's been a slow process and not a mandatory thing that they needed up until now. So what they did was they made more of a hieroglyphs or pictogram message. And they have to decipher what each thing means this chapter to try to get the code for what the infiltrators of this island are trying to tell them. So it was an okay chapter, but once again, I'm not super hyped about this. Ever since I reached this island or this new place, I have not been super happy with the manga. The way the plot is just not for me too much. I preferred it when they were just doing other things. That's all. Like the science is still there. It's still kind of cool. Characters are still great. Just not really not as interested, not as passionate. Maybe this arc's just a bit of a flop for me. Once it's over, which I'm sure it'll get through because a lot of people don't see what I see in this arc. A lot of people are still liking Doctor Stone, so it'll definitely get through this arc. And maybe once it gets through this, I'll be more passionate about it, start reviewing it even. So, but overall, yeah, Black Clover was okay, and Doctor Stone, same idea. Like nothing great, nothing bad, just there. And that's basically all I read this week. So anything left on your plate, Keishan, is all you.
Yeah, I've got a few left. As you
Alrighty.
said, I read a lot throughout the week.
Mm,
Um,
absolutely.
and To You, the Immortal will be the first on that list.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a part two to 105 because for whatever reason the mangaka may have not had enough time. Who knows? We don't really have any idea. But part one was like the people in this city that he's protecting, the immortal Fushi. He basically rebuilt the whole city
Mm-hmm.
of himself and connected it all so that he knows all the ins and outs as the city's being attacked. So,
Really?
and he has all the people essentially like on home arrest or house arrest, to keep them safe. Because the main enemy, the things called knockers, they almost look like plants, like little orbs that are like kind of veiny, and they like can get into people's bodies and everything and take them over, and just they wreak havoc.
I see.
So, yeah. Um, and the things have just been using like trebuchets to launch them into the city. And they can't find where they're being launched from, so they're continuing to come in, but they've been using like birds to also bring them
Mm-hmm.
in. They were kind of freaky a couple chapters ago, and I was like, holy shit, why don't they use that idea more? And then immediately part two was you see a flock of these things attack the church. So,
Wow.
but yeah, you the first bit was like a child. She was kind of like getting anxious and like bored, from being
Mm-hmm.
locked in all the time, and she was knocking, and Fushi had this system where like you knock 3 times, and then I know you need help. So he came to her in one of his many forms, because that's one of his powers. He continues to gain more forms as he makes connections with people, and then they eventually die. And then he gains their
Oh.
forms. uh, it,
That's pretty nutty, nutty peanut buddy. That.
it's morbid in a way because that's the only way he can gain like a living form. He can like take the form or like be able to make objects. Like say, oh, I got hit with this knife. Like it just stabbed me in the hand. Well, now he can make that knife as much as he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of how he was able to rebuild the city. Like he would know what it looked like. He kind of had a connection with it. It was in his memories, and then they would break everything down and rebuild the whole town and whatnot. It took a while, obviously, and it left him completely exhausted there a few times. And he's continuing to provide weapons and water and food for everybody, so he's around the clock is just exhausted right now. So for him to be called upon, he kind of got a little testy with the little girl. It's like, what's wrong? It's like, nothing. Nothing. It's like, then don't call me. I thought you needed something. So, and, she's kind of like, oh, I'm sorry. So he made her a little doll, and, she was happy. And he
Mm-hmm.
leaves, and it's just like he's starting to go through. It's like, okay, I'm making water for everyone all the time, and yeah, but the attacks are still coming. I'm not really. It's like, when is this crap going to end?
Yeah. Yeah. One of those.
And yeah, it it continues to only get worse because with a recent ability he's gained, he has these 3 immortal warriors,
Mm-hmm.
and to quick travel, they have to die so that they can get to places that they need to real quickly. So that leads into the um, like one of the well, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Sorry. One of the warriors, I believe his name's Kai. I always get two of them mixed up. He let a robber who was going around stealing people's food while they were like either at one of the churches or whatever because of the evacuations and everything to keep people safe. And so he was going around stealing stuff to survive because he didn't have anywhere to go. So Kai just let him go. Well, he ends up killing someone. And
Oh. Well. Wow.
yeah, leaving this old woman, you know, to have to survive on her own. Well, obviously, he didn't want that to happen, but she, if I remember right, no, that was with him. Never mind. He had been infected by one of the knockers during that attack because one of them attacks him at the house. And so he essentially just like kind of leads her to the church, and like he's seeing, you know, stuff going on around him. Fushi eventually, or he gets contacted by Kai because it's like, oh wait, his name is Kai's the other guy. Damn it. The one I'm thinking of is Hylos. More reason why you know why I can't remember these characters' names. I don't have as much of a connection with them because they're literal pawns at this point. You know,
Hmm.
they've been revived numerous times at this point, so I don't. I guess I'm not getting as much of a connection with them. But anyway, Hylos contacted Fushi, and he's like, "Oh, I need a new body. This one's been infected, so it's like, oh, how do we deal with this? Oh, just shoot me in the face."
Yeah, yeah, that's all you need.
Right there in the middle of town, a bunch of people saw it, and they think Fushi is a murderer.
Jesus Christ.
They're like, murderer! He just killed that man. And so, yeah, which then leads into the next bit, which he just disappears because he can do that. He's connected to everything at this point, so, or at least things that he's physically connected himself to. So, like, that's how he's able to get to people's houses real quick and whatnot, and how he's able to send these immortal warriors to where they need to go. Because he'll just
Right.
create them a new body and then put their consciousness in it. So, real simple.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it sounds simple. It's crazy.
Simple in practice, it's a little more complicated.
Yeah. And he doesn't fully understand his revival abilities yet. One of his own allies, who's the one who basically found out about it, still hasn't revealed it to him yet. He,
Oh,
like, basically, as far as my understanding, is like, Bon, who is said person, is kind of like convinced him in a way that only these three people can be done that way. Because there are a lot of allies that Fushi has lost along the way, and that he can now take on their forms. A lot of times, like, there was a 40-year time span where he was on an island, and
right.
he would find out that someone had died because one day he would transform into them. So,
Jesus.
so yeah. Oh, Richard saying Bond is best boy. Bond could be best boy if he would be honest with Fushi. I mean, he's literally the golden goose in this series. He's giving you everything he has to protect this town, and you're not being truthful with him, you know? But
Yeah.
but yeah, so Fushi leaves, and he's kind of having to like confront, in himself. It's like, why are they calling me a murderer? I didn't do anything. All of this is for their sake. And he's just like remembering like a few people that have essentially done the same thing, like, and it's just like, I don't really know what to do. And then that's when the church was being attacked by these bird knockers, which, to be honest, is probably one of the better tactics that the knockers have used. Because, like, flight, it's not something that this medieval world is going to have. So if you can,
No.
acquire it, you're pretty set. And Hilo was there, and he's like, oh shit. It's like,
Dude.
and he's just a dude with a crossbow, really. So it's like, how is he going to take down this whole flock of crows? But I mean, that's if Fushi gives him enough bolts, obviously. But
Yeah.
so
From a
he's
realistic standpoint, you have a murderer of crows and a dude with a crossbow. So.
yeah. Um, but anyway, and then it changes over to another one of the warriors. His name is Mezer. He is the. I always forget his full connection with the princess of this town. I think they're step siblings. Because, like, one of his I think his mom married her father? I don't know. Richard, you may have to. Um, uh, refresh my memory on that connection, but he like he went to go check on the princess, and she's about to commit suicide.
Jesus Christ.
It's because her father has just passed away, and she has actually been infected.
Oh my God, man. Still.
I know, I wasn't expecting this. I figured when I saw her, and she's always got this veil over her face, and the knockers like to have like their like veiny looking vines under the skin, usually around the face or the arms, and I didn't see it on her arms, and I thought she's not revealing why she's doing this. So I was like, she's been infected, hasn't she? And he's just like, hey, come on, I need you, you know? And then she's about to jump off, and he catches her and everything, and then he removes the veil to you see all of the underneath her skin. And she's like, let's play another game, brother. I hate the knockers because you see the shadows of their vines attacking Mesmer. Which he's an immortal soldier, so he'll be revived, but that still doesn't make it any better.
That all sounds incredibly, incredibly dark.
Yeah, this has been like the longest arc in the series. So, it's a little dragging at bits because, you know, war arcs are usually they can be the best, but they can also be the worst due to their length and how much is so repeated. So,
right.
And this arc has kind of hit that point. Like, you get these good moments, but then you see like they're just fighting, and it just, I'm waiting for it to kind of end.
Yeah, because it's just dragging for you right now.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word, that's what it's doing. It's just dragging.
I mean, overall, I'm still liking it every week, so it's not as bad, but... And when I was a catch-up reader, a backlog reader, obviously you don't feel that, at least for this series. Now, Kingdom was a different story, but,
right.
Richard's heard that one.
Yeah.
And he even agrees that it drags a lot for Immortal, so...
right.
We've discussed that to a nauseam at this point.
To a nauseating degree.
Oh, yeah. I just want the good arcs of Immortal to return. Where you meet a few new characters, they become like traveling companions, and you go to new places, you see new things. Fushi does some cool shit. A knocker attack. That's usually how it went.
That's usually how it goes, and what's wrong with that?
Yep. Also, it would be nice to know more about Fushi, like the whole purpose of his being, but that kind of gets into more spoilery territory than I would like to get you. I gotta get you on the hook and get you into this community.
Yeah, that's also the other thing that we should just quickly mention once again is that both Keisha and I, of course, here at the end, we always talk about different series that neither one of us reads, the other one doesn't. But however, that does not mean that we don't. We're not trying to get the other one to read it because, of course, we both like a lot of the same series. So there's always something, for us to, So just in case anybody was curious,
like there's a slight hump that I felt in the first chapter. Because it's just a real simple story, so I wasn't sure what to expect from it. But once you get past that and you see Fushi do more stuff, it really makes you want to read more of the series.
Really picks it up.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, out of all the series that Keishan does talk about on this podcast, the one that I'm most intrigued to read is that Beast Children one. That one sounds
Beast Stars.
Beast Stars. Sorry,
I don't know where you're getting Beast Child or Children.
I think it's because we're always talking about all these different like Like, there's always so many kids right now. Like, look, My Hero Academia, we're following kids. With friggin' Promised Neverland, we're following kids. With Taizai, even, half of them look like kids. Like, Jesus, it's always with the kids in this damn thing. So, but yeah, Beast Stars. Sorry, that was my bad, but Beast
It's
Stars.
fine. I mean, half the cast are underage,
Well, there you go. So
or
I
at
wasn't
least
wrong.
were at the beginning of the series.
Right.
So,
So, I mean, once again, I would just like to. That seems like a very. It seems like it's something up my alley. So, once again, but this is the point of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is for both Keishan and I to kind of expand our horizons at the same time while discussing series that we both read and enjoy. So,
uh-huh.
twofold. This is a multi.
But anything else? Because I can keep
Um,
going, obviously.
yeah. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else. Of course, I think I already talked about the latest. Again, I'm only reading it for the sole purpose because Rumiko Takahashi just can't forget, So yeah, but and there's not really a whole lot because I kind of jumped into Black Clover and Doctor Stone in the same sort of breath. Not really. Oh, Hajime no Ippo, that lady. Once again, not a huge follower of the series, but I pick it up because I'm a Rocky dude. So I read it from time to time if I'm really bored. And in all honesty, guys, I gotta love him because it's just like I am sorry. I am sorry that I'm strong. Like that is just like the crowd. Like even when he makes the crowd love him, and he's like, yeah, and I'm also going for 3 belts. And then they're like, wow, that's Japan. And when I will once again say that I am too strong. And then, of course, the crowd hates him again. He is the crowd displeaser because he is damn strong. Even when he comes up against a really strong opponent, he beats their ass. He's a knockout champion. Yeah, I don't think he's ever lost a fight. He's really tanking. Of course, he's not even the main character of the series. And at the end of the chapter, we do see Ippo. He's going through and he's trying to figure out about the left rules the world sort of. He's trying to realize that his jab. Remember that this is a guy who is supposedly punch drunk, and he's going of I have to retire from boxing, but he keeps being pulled back into boxing, and everyone's waiting for him. Nobody's trying to push him there, but they're all waiting for him to stop being so cheery. He's got to either be what they want, what everybody wants is super depressed and like I can't fight anymore, and they want to see that, or they want back in that goddamn ring. They hate the fact a lot of the characters are sitting there, and I can understand that feeling. They hate the fact that he's standing there pretending like everything's okay, like he didn't just lose things in his life, which was being. So that's pissing a lot of. And this transition, these motions that he's going through each chapter are very interesting. That's all I can't really make that like I can't push this much longer because once again I didn't read but once again I'm the guy who jumps in of a 25-book series, so I can't really say to the whole history of the series or anything like that because I haven't even read the whole series, but I thought this was a pretty decent chapter. So was the last one, and yeah, when they're done, Ipo, you guys can let me know in the comment section down below after the stream. So, anyways, Keishan, you got a couple more series to go through, don't you?
Oh, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Jesus Christ!
I read a lot. It's usually just one chapter, but some of these are real quick.
Okay,
but we'll
that's
do
fair.
one of the more complex ones. And that is because it was 2 chapters released this month, which is surprising for a monthly series that only does about 20 to 25 pages.
Yes, indeed.
Which is something that Richard and I kind of pissed off because like not a whole lot happens. Like you'll go whole pages without dialogue, and it's called Trail of or A Trail of Blood. Obviously, Richard.
I
Oh, you read it.
I don't read the whole thing, but I did. I did read the last when was they had that huge jump on Manga Stream where they 7 or 8 chapters. It's like chapter 41 or something like that. So I've gotten the gist of what's going on, and I did read that latest chapter. But once again, oh, that reminds me of like some Grudge shit. Like that art style, while good for a horror element, freaks me right the fuck out, man. Like that's gonna keep me up at night, along with Momo and the Grudge in my fucking closet.
Wait, how far into it did you get?
I'm up to. What's up to?
Hmm?
I'm up to whatever Manga Stream's up to right now, like chapter 50,
2.
52.
Or,
Yeah,
no, 53. My bad.
I just whatever's released today. I just read it today. I caught up on the last couple chapters. I went back because I had the last couple weeks, but I did catch up. Once again, this is another example of me not reading the whole series, but I think I've got the gist of what's going on, and it's very psychological creep.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to explain the series because that could be another 30 minutes of the stream.
Yeah, no, you don't need to.
But good
Just
lord, it's like, what is going through Psycho's head? Which, hey, her name is almost Psycho. It's Seiko, but, you know.
Which, fun thought, was the original concept of either The Ring or The Grudge. One of them.
Oh, really?
Names is the same, yeah. I forget which one, but the original, like, Ju-on The Grudge, the very creepy movies, one in Japan, one of them, either the maiden name or something like that, the family name something, is whatever. Pronounce the fucking thing.
Richard really wants you to go back and read all of it. You need context.
I don't want to. Did you read the comment section after that? Everyone was, poor bastard was like, I was like, what the hell? And everyone was like, run. You don't like get involved. This will fuck with your brain. And I'm like, I don't need another one of those in my life. I already watched the Grindhouse meets Planet Terror, or whatever that Quentin Tarantino clusterfuck was.
Yeah, there was that. I never saw it.
That actually, like, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't high, but like I was no incapacitated in any space. And me and my buddy sat down in his basement and watched that when we were like 19, 20 years old. I literally questioned reality. What was real? What wasn't? I feel like I was in one of those dream states where I would have been like, oh, take a butcher's knife. I think if I cut off is literally the state of mind you get into when you watch something like that. So I'm just sitting there like, I don't need those thoughts in my brain. You know, I'm good. So either way, like, still, I can see why it's an intriguing series for those who love the psychological aspects of things. Once again, and the art style does lend to that creepy factor 110%.
Yeah, it's sketchy nature.
Yeah, it's very, very, and chapters ago or something like that, the mother's face, Psycho's face, which is all contorted.
Oh, yeah, when she, like, he came home and it's like, please let me in, and she's just kind of like,
you liar, you disgusting. Oh my god, like, see, that shit would give a child nightmares. Like, stop with that shit.
Are you looking at it now?
No, I'm not looking at that ever again. I don't think I'll read the next chapter. I'm just letting you know I caught up with it. It is, so I'm good. But either way, why don't you talk about it, Keishan, and then I can.
She has some weird dialogue in 52. Like,
yeah.
I have no way out. You would think that she has a way out now that her nephew hasn't regained his memories.
Yeah, like, because we all know that that's bullshit. Like, she pushed him. We all know that, right? Like, there's no she with Sai's mind, right? Like, she twisted it into believing the lie she's telling him. So there's just no, like, she pushed him. So I mean, Christ, like this poor. How old is this kid again?
Think he's probably less than 15.
Yeah, okay, because any older, I'd be like, dude, you have to recognize.
Because I think he's probably in middle school? Or maybe the first year of high school. I have no idea.
Oh, okay, yeah. It looked like a junior high thing to me, but so I would guess like maybe he's 13, 14.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds about right.
But either way, yeah, the guy like because if he realized, okay, so he's first discovering girls, he did the kiss thing, like
Oh,
that
Richard's
sounds
saying he's 13.
okay. See, he seems to have that junior high thing because he's embarrassed. He's still calling her. He's still like, don't look at my dick. He's still like ashamed of not even realizing what a goddamn cum stain looks like. So, so like there's definitely some. He's not as learned as some 13-year-olds would be, but you could still who was a little more sheltered would still be like that. So yeah, either way, fucked.
Yeah. It's quite the series of mental
Oh,
torture and the mental gymnastics to justify it.
like that's I don't know. Anything specific you thought about the chapter, Keishan, or something that you wanted to?
Just that first chapter was kind of weird with some of her dialogue. Like, oh, let's go out for udon, and it's like, then it's the fight over what do you want, and it's like nothing.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. I've let up this facade when she's clearly mentally ill and no one's recognized it yet. But then she bitch moans and complains the whole fucking time that she stuff. Like, listen, bitch, make up your goddamn mind.
I'm
Like I'd be.
almost surprised she hasn't driven her husband away at this point.
See, he's what do you call it in like porn or whatever? A cuck. He's a cuck. He's one of those fucking guys that would be like, I guarantee in the bedroom, he's like, oh yeah, take your high heel and stomp on my dick or some shit, or some foot fetish crap. Like this dude, submissive as all hell. He's one of those people that the sketch on Netflix makes fun of. Like, you want that guy defending your house? Really, really? So when the burger comes through, he's like, oh, he bakes, he wears the to my stories. Yeah, you want that bitchy blood. We're
Oh,
terrible
the
as
hilarity of this because of the next series I'll probably cover.
well. That's good. That's good. But the point of the fact is that this guy is a perfect example of why we need to get rid of warning labels on everything and let nature do its own thing. You know, in all honesty, like we have become such weaker as a species, and this is a perfect example of that. This dude should not be taking shit. Listen, why was my son crying on the ground? What the fuck did you do? What's your problem? You know, like I'm sorry. Like once again, guys, talking like I don't know, like 700 years ago when like it was all like, oh yeah, you take what you want, you beat your women, make a pledge for Jesus and hit your women sort of mentality in the South. I'm not like that. I'm just saying that like if if I did something drunk and stupid, would slap me silly. Be like, what the fuck did you do that for? So in the same sense, if she came home drunk and silly, I'd be like, and she was puking on the floor, I'd be like, I'm not cleaning that up. You get your own ass to bed. You clean up your own puke in the morning, and if it stinks, to fix it. Because it's your mistake. You fix it. We're a bullshit
You
relationship, sort
buy
of
the
like
new
that.
throw rug to cover that stain. or you
That's
or you find the exact kind of carpet. You cut out the bad carpet and then you upholster the new one.
thank thank God there are two good things about this situation. Number one, this house. Number two, so easily cleanable. And number two is that I'm the dude who suffers a 24-hour hangover because I refuse to puke it up. So
Ew.
yeah. So I like the whole lol Sunday sort of idea. rather than just puking it up in the morning, getting it out of your system, grab a couple glasses of water, you're good in 2 hours. Nah, I can't do it. So, but the whole point is that this guy, he, this is a serious character because he's either blind or he's a goddamn cuck. And I don't roll with dudes who roll over and play dead. I just don't. I can't do it. I can't, like, if he's just fine. I mean, the dude wears glasses, so he's half blind, so it's fine. But if he's blind and he's just trying to ignore it and stuff, that's the fact. I think he knows exactly what's going on. He's just trying so hard to keep this family together and pretend like nothing's going on when he clearly knows he's got to be smarter than that. So I don't know. What do you think of the father?
I think he is kind of ignoring some of the obvious signs. Because, like, I've the first time you kind of overlook something if it's a little weird, but
Oh,
it's been kind of repeated at this point, and it's like, at one point I thought he was going to take Say and just drive off. It's like, we're leaving. Say goodbye to mommy. We're gonna have a happy life somewhere else.
we're gonna go, and you're not gonna know where. But why, honey? Because you're fucked. Like, seriously. I don't know. She a few, like, I get a bit of an incestual vibe with her. In all honesty, I don't know a thing that's been in the earlier chapters of the series, but I'm getting a bit of that. Like, she's not only like got some mental illnesses, like some like she's psychotic, but she's in that overbearing overprotectiveness. But like, almost like got that twisted passion, sexual with her son or some shit. Like, it's creepy. It's not in a good, like, hentai way or anything with the stepsisters. No, it's creepy.
And then, chapter 53 just furthered the weird connection with Say's dream.
Yeah.
Like, people don't have those kinds of wet dreams.
No.
Or at least I hope they don't.
At least, don't get me wrong. Everyone in their life is going to have a couple of very weird, very like, I feel dirty afterwards, wet dreams. But at the end of the day, he goes, that's the point. It's just one of a million, Couple of crazy thoughts entered mind. My friend one time thought it would be, he goes, crazy, the thoughts that enter your mind. He was sitting across from, we had this family gathering with another friend's family, grandmother's lovely lady and stuff, and he just thought the thought. He goes, what would everyone's reaction would be if I just decked grandma in the face? Like, that was a thought that ran through his mind. He goes, of course I thought about it. I'm like, what the fuck? But it was intriguing because I just wanted to know, what would everyone do? Like, what would their face look like? What would their reaction be? Like, because that would come out of nowhere. So their reaction would be the payoff sort of idea, right? So in a logical perspective, yeah, it's like, it's scientific. Hey, I've never seen the expression, like this perplexed expression before on X person's face. How can I achieve this? Well, do something out of the ordinary, right? So in that sense, but yeah, like, everyone has crazy thoughts once in a while, and it's just like, but that's the thing. Most of them aren't. Thing is that this dream was nuts. He's nuts, and now there's that whole thing where he got the little note at the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
That's just confused.
I was hoping their little relationship would go on a little more, but with that promise he made with his mom, yeah, that's dead in the water now.
I really feel like that whole 1,000 needles in the eye or whatever she fucking is literally like, she's gonna hold a box of needles above his eyes.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Because that was a promise. Like, you'll never talk to her again. The one who, like, breaks this, needles in her eye or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I feel like she's going to threaten him with.
The
Also, I have.
literal the promise thing.
Yeah, exactly. I also have a question.
Hmm.
Or like, because that dad, he got home during that chapter, home in like literally 30 seconds before she let him in. What the fuck would have happened had he walked up and heard that? Like everything that just happened. Like if he had, oh, what's going on? He comes up the driveway and he's like, oh, why is he out here in the rain? Why is he crying? Why is he yelling at his mother? Like pleading with his mother. What's going on here? Like literally, like how would they have come back? That's the problem. This whole manga is based. She's not like a light Yagami, like Death Note intelligence level or anything. Everything she does is by the skin of situation she barely gets out of based on convenience, not by planning. She's
Yeah.
not very cunning or conniving. She's literally insane who just hasn't been caught. Like in such a crazy compromised situation. Like imagine had he been listening in or saw the other side or went, wait, what's going on? And instead of like coming right up, he was like, I want to know what's going on here. And he like was quiet about it and he saw the whole prompt, the eyes to the door and all that stuff,
I
you
was
know?
like,
Like
okay, well, I'm calling the police and getting this boy out of here.
yeah, exactly. All it would have taken was five minutes earlier he show up. You know, like so that's what I'm saying, is that that's almost what pisses you off sometimes in these manga series where everything's situational. You know, like this bitch should have been caught 20 chapters ago by somebody,
Yeah,
you know.
but that doesn't seem to be the case now, does it?
Certainly not, good sir. Certainly not.
Her son's either going to have to step up and actually find out that, wait, she's manipulating me. I don't like this. I want to live my own life, not under her
Problem
thumb.
problem is all he knows is a 13-year-old boy,
Yes.
you
Well,
know,
like I said,
with a
that's
cuck for a
probably
dad. So,
that's
you
probably how
know,
it's going to turn out. Like, we don't know if there's going to be like a time skip at some point. Like, say
mhm.
he's 15 or 16 years old after the fact, and it's like we've seen, like you don't get to see all of the shit that's happened, but like you get little glimpses of it, and it's like, holy shit, he's only gotten worse. And then eventually, like, his little girl on the side, like, she starts to find out what's really going on and like starts to, you know, undo the brainwashing.
I think it's going to get worse though.
Well, most likely.
Like I think it's not she starts to undo the brainwashing. I think he's going to appear normal and like something happened and they solved this whole issue or something. But then it's going to be revealed that he's like her way long, even though he's like saying no to her and stuff. It's like, oh, this is all an act, you know, to bring my mother and me be her big, strong boy. Jason, my special, special boy. You know, that's literally where this is headed.
Well, he did become a big, strong boy.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. We're having some Jason Voorhees shit going on here, man.
Well, there was that time when he couldn't talk,
Yeah, yeah,
so he's already turning into Jason. Because Jason didn't
exactly.
talk.
No, Jason never talked.
He just.
Yep. Oh, poor Jason. Leave poor Jason alone. Though I did like Freddy versus Jason. That was a pretty good movie.
Freddy or Jason didn't want to leave you alone is the problem.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh god. Like, why is he still killing? I don't get it. There's no point to his vengeance anymore. Unless he's so blinded by it that he thinks, oh, these are more people that were from the camp.
I think when it's the lake, he assumes that the lake. It's just like a repeat to him.
But
Like watching an old film.
well, I mean, I could understand if more people come to the lake, which I think was
Hmm.
the case for what, the first or second sequel?
Yeah, yeah.
But like when he takes Manhattan, goes to hell, Freddy versus Jason, there's a lot of shit that's not necessarily connecting with that particular element.
No, that's fair. But I still enjoyed Freddy versus Jason because, I mean, Robert Englund,
Yeah.
he's awesome. So, but anyways,
um, but yeah, so it really shortened that up because I didn't have to explain things, and you're well aware of it, and yeah, we've kind of
mm-hmm.
gotten some of the things that I probably wouldn't have thought about. So good on you.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. There we go. So what's the next series you wanted to talk about?
Well,
So
you were talking about
else?
the pushover husband that does all the cooking. Well, remember
Yeah.
the Way of the House husband, the one about the former
Oh,
yakuza.
yeah, 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 yeah. But at
Well,
least he's a badass for former
yes,
Yakuza.
like I said, it's like that kind of connects with what you were saying, but it's not the same situation.
No, it's a little different.
And this one was pretty easy to summarize. The wife comes home. I always forget her name. I will never remember her name. I think it's like Miko or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes home. She has this ticket to an amusement park. And
Mm-hmm.
at first he's a little against it, but then they eventually go. There's like a bunch of activities, and he's just kind of like, really now? What's this over here? And it's just like a fun little excursion. And he even brought lunch because he's like, I ain't buying none of this overpriced shit. So, and I mean,
Hey, he's a man. He's a man after my own heart. That's
he
absolutely
bought
right.
he brought a full fucking tea set.
Okay, I won't. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not like that. The Brenda from Scary Movie where she like brings like the chicken wings and the
Oh
to the movie
yeah,
theater. Yeah, I'm not that crazy, but yeah, like if you have the opportunity, like it's cheaper.
but I do like his amusement with everything because you know, like those portrait or those like cutout things that they have where you put your face in it and then you look like somebody.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
They did one of those, but it was for llamas because it's like a farm themed uh, amusement park,
Oh really?
and it may actually be based on a real place if I'm thinking right, because it kind of looks like it might be, but who knows? Um, and it's like he was the female llama, which
Well, that's
and his face is like to the side, and he's like, "One more, please, thanks." It's like, "Hey, get one from the side over here," you know. And it's like he wanted different angles and shit, and it's like he was getting into it. They
well. I
went.
mean, that's like that. That's part of the fun, man.
You should
Like
have
I
seen. You should have
I
seen
know
him
for a
at the
fact.
petting zoo.
Oh, I can only imagine.
She's holding a bunny all cute, and he's got like a flock of bunnies because he had all these things of carrot sticks. He's like, "Yes, come to me."
See, I mean and that's part of the fun. Like, I mean, I'm not a dad yet or anything like that, but I mean, I'm gonna definitely have to go to a couple of tea parties, you know. So, that's part of the thing. You have to look at it from the fun perspective. Like, you got to do it anyways. Have fun with it,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah,
But yeah, so ultimately, it's revealed that like when he was growing up, he couldn't do any of this kind of stuff because he was from a poorer background. So it made sense why he was reveling in all of this because it's something he never got to
so
do.
sense.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
and he finally, came forth with it, and she's like, he made it seem like it was such a thing. Like, I'm so sorry. I've been keeping this from you, and it's like, what? That was about how it felt. But he's like, this day was really important to me. Thanks for allowing it. And
Yeah,
then it started
yeah.
to rain, and they're like, oh, it'll let up in a minute. Fucking hour later, they're still standing underneath a little thing. So they head on home, and you know do their nightly rituals. Take off the wet clothes, get a hot bath, go to bed, and that was how it ended. It was just a nice little day for them.
bit of a slice of life.
It's about what that is. It's like with a plot twist, of him with his background and everything, and how he kind of looks at certain situations and the lingo he uses. It's a fun way. It reminds me of Gokushin, which
Yeah,
involve.
yeah.
Oh wait, I forget if I guess I have mentioned it before
Mm-hmm.
about the
Yep.
teacher that is the granddaughter of a mob boss.
Yes.
And like the way she looks at things is very similar because it's all about the same, really.
Yeah, exactly.
She's done the dirty stuff, or at least has seen it.
Yeah, she's either seen it or she was a part of it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's why I like this series as much, because I feel that connection with it. It's just, instead of a teacher, it's a stay-at-home husband. So
Which, once again, like, even though I'm not stay at home, my wife makes more money than I do. Between the two of us, if one of us has to go on maternity leave, it's probably going to be me.
and I know you can cook, so I'm sure she would
Uh,
appreciate a good meal coming home.
oh, Jesus Christ, I'm a better cook than she is, for fuck's sakes. The only thing she's better at me is folding laundry, because she used to work at Forever 21 when she was a teenager, so she's really good at
Oh,
the speed and the shit like that. But the rest of it, yeah, I'm the better cook and shit. So, and I got no problem sitting at home and watching Disney movies with children. I literally got nothing against doing that.
you do that alone.
Exactly, I do it now. So why the fuck would I mind doing it with children?
That's why I think
Fuck's
I would
sakes.
get along with children, but then eventually they would probably get tired of me. They're like, Dad, it's like we don't want to watch that stuff anymore. It's like, what? I never grew out of it, so you shouldn't either, Dad. You're a different person than we are.
Yeah, the worst person the worst part is going to be when they like prefer like the newest Power Ranger season 35 or something like that. I'm going to be like, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers kids, and they're like, no, that's old and lame. The new ones are good. And I'm like,
We like
you
Neo Saban.
yeah,
None
it's
of that
like I'm
old
gonna
shit.
yeah, and I'm gonna be
There's
like,
no
kid,
CGI in it.
yeah, I'm gonna look at my kids and be like, kids, you're either gonna like what Daddy likes, or there's the door. I can call child services.
I don't think
You
you
know.
would go that far.
I mean, it depends. How much did I have to drink that?
Oh
It
God.
would be it'd be funny. I mean, the wife would come home. Where are the kids? Child services.
It was a bad day. I
Mm.
don't want to talk about it. And then you just pop open another and it's like, and there's the problem.
Yeah, and then yeah, it'd be like an Archie Bunker episode or some shit. And then she kills me because
Archie,
she's a
Archie,
Latina.
what the fuck did you do with my daughter?
Yeah, and like, well, I sent her away because she was not listening. She wouldn't let me watch the football. She said something about a pony, and I said, I'm not. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, no, I could never do that. Not because I wouldn't do that to a bratty child, just to teach him a lesson. But the fact of the matter is that my wife's Latina. She'd kill me.
It's like,
Latinas
you
are
you dare send my children away, you motherfucker.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
and
well, I fucked you and you're their mother, so I
yeah.
guess you're
Oh,
right.
I swear, like one of her uncles is actually part of the one of those um part of the cartel bike gangs or something
Oh
like that.
shit.
I know, I swear, like every single, like I know it's stereotypical as hell, but I'm telling you, like two of her uncles are definitely a part of it. So I'm sitting there like they even got the gold chains around their neck with the nice suit and the whole bit. It's like, dude, you're not fooling anyone. I know you're not an entrepreneur or a car salesman coming to a family get up in a 3-piece
Well,
suit.
I thought it was normally a tracksuit nowadays with the golden chain.
Yeah, Jason Statham made that kind of cool in Crank, but no,
Hmm.
they still wear suits once in a while. But anyways, yeah, no. The point of the matter is that no, she knows how to kill me like 4 times. Her and my mother are sitting there watching Datelines and Forensic Files all evening. Jesus Christ, they know how to kill me and get rid of the body, and no one will even know I'm gone.
How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah, watch Forensic Files and be like, don't do that, don't do that, don't do
No, I
that.
meant there's
Watch.
actually a show called How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah, yeah, there is that too. That's that one with the oh, what's her name? But yeah, I know the show. Anyways, that being said, good sir, what else you got on the
Um,
books?
Next will be kind of a quick one. Chainsaw Man, Chapter 30. Continuing where
I
it
did.
left off, you have Power and you have Denjiro, and yeah, they essentially got their asses stomped by their new sensei.
Oh,
He's essentially the strongest devil hunter that they have in the organization.
well,
And
that's interesting.
he basically like almost snapped their necks simultaneously. Like this hug that he went in for last week
Hmm.
possibly was hinting at that he was like trying to see if they could get out of it, and then he more or less almost knocked them out.
Wow.
He's like, I see. You're kind of like humans. But he came prepared. He brought some blood because that heals them. So he, while they could barely move, he just poured it in their mouths. It's like, okay, recover, and then we go again.
And we'll just keep going until you get it.
But yeah, he mostly just explains like who he is and why he was sent to train them. You know, so I'm the strongest. Uh, Makima, sent me, and
Hmm.
yeah. So you're going to be my punching bags essentially. It's like, okay, see if you can kill me. He's one
Yeah.
of those kinds of teachers. So Power makes a blood hammer for Denjiro, and
Okay.
that's not even. It's Denji. Why am I saying Denjiro? I've been reading One Piece too damn long.
Well, this guy sounds more like Kisuke Uehara. Like, knock my hat off. It's like, and if you try, I will kill you.
Not far from it. Yeah. But anyway, so they're
Sounds.
they're gonna go tag team him, and
Mm-hmm.
well, it doesn't work. He pulls out a knife. As far as I can tell, he like side dodges Denji, and then just
Mm-hmm.
starts stabbing him in the back,
Okay.
and then stabs him right through the bottom of his head.
That's that's
So
pretty
then, while he's
intense.
holding that, Power comes in to attack him,
Mm-hmm.
and he slits her throat.
Okay, that's not a very nice thing to do.
Yeah, and she's like, gasping and everything, and he's like, the boy's immortal, and the devil girl's half immortal.
It's like,
So,
oh, now I know.
yes, now I know the limits I can probably surpass by accident.
Yeah, it's like, oh, now I know how I can push these two.
But he explains, like, ever since he was a child, that he was really strong and he would always break his toys. So it's
Yeah.
basically inferring that he's viewing them as his new toys. But he does promise, basically, essentially, if you can survive this training, I will make you two of the strongest, craziest motherfuckers ever.
Which is a pretty good deal. It's like, if you survive the training, like, listen, if someone came up to me tomorrow and said, yeah, you ever seen anime? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, you know all those dudes like Ichigo and Goku and stuff that can like Toriko that can like blow shit up with the fist? Yeah. Yeah, you want to be able to do that? Yeah. All right. Survive training with a year with me. See what happens. Be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. For the off chance that you could do something like that, I'd be like, fuck yeah. Let's give it a try. What do I got to lose?
And the second half of the chapter is Aki. He's still in the hospital because it's basically the same day from the last chapter. So
Right, right.
um, he's coming to the realization that his devil that he made excuse me, the fox devil that he has a contract with,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it ain't gonna cut it for if he chooses to continue being a devil hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So, so
That's not nice because like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the whole contract thing with each devil, the devils were like, they still had a mind and a will of their own.
Well, they kind of do,
Yeah,
but
so I mean, you're trading in like that'd be me like going like, oh, my cat can't kill this other cat, so I'm gonna get rid of this cat that I've been attached to for 5 years. Fuck that cat. I'll go get a new cat.
well,
Like,
with what happened in the last fight, the
yeah,
fox isn't even coming when he calls anymore. So essentially, the
then that's
contract has been severed. It's like, fuck you. I ain't
yeah.
fighting these crazy things anymore.
Well, what he needs to do is establish a communication with the fox. Then that's what he should be doing. Like
This
treat it like
isn't
a
Naruto.
Zanpakuto. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, I was thinking more to Zanpakuto
I know, I
spirit.
know. I mean, it
Like
isn't
sort
a
of the.
sword, so.
There you go. So it's more like that. One of those things that you have to learn together. You got to appreciate each other. But Shaman King did it. Bleach did it.
Man.
Fuck Naruto. It's bad. Um, but yeah, a lot of them. I mean, hell, even Toriko with the gourmet demons inside of each and every one of them. You have to establish that connection, and the better connection you have, the more power you produce. You know. So.
But yeah, anyway, the two assistants to Makima, the ones that came to like make sure he was okay and how he was doing and all that, and to
Mm-hmm.
see if he wanted to, continue this line of work or go back into the private sector and live a life. Because this is basically like probably one of the few opportunities anyone has ever had to just leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Well,
Especially when you're
wait.
contracted with a devil.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're not talking about Denji, because he was given like multiple chances to leave.
Yep.
Like he was given a shit ton of chances. Like at the end of every chapter, for the first 10 chapters, it was like, "You want to quit? You want to give up? No, I'm good." Like every time, he was like, "Boobies."
I feel
Every
like it
time
was
that
more of
kid.
a joke. It's like, oh, you're ready to quit now? It's like, nope.
Yeah. So every time he was looking forward to the next time he would see some titties. Dude knew what he was after. He was like,
Yeah.
"Damn, I need to see some of them titties." And I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, what do you think I actually clean the kitchen and make the bed and do shit for? It's not for me.
But yeah, he more or less tells them it's like, I'm not quitting. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how did he phrase it? Um, the one who killed my family and the one who killed my buddy are still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I
Mm-hmm.
quit? So they're kind of left a little dumbfounded, and they go to do the proper paperwork and all that stuff. Basically, I think just to get him a new devil, which, where are they finding these things? I don't know. Because you would assume that they have to have like some kind of like procedure to acquire these things and to keep them alive so that they
You would
can be
think
used by a devil hunter.
they would need to have some type of Pokeball mechanic going on with these things, or something. So,
Yeah.
like maybe not an actual like
Yeah, yeah.
caps, but you're right. They would need to have something in place, because it's like, yeah, we'll just call down this devil who's been patiently waiting for 30 years. No big deal. Like that don't make any sense. So.
But more or less at the end of the chapter, you get Dingy and Power again. Their training for the day is over. They're basically almost left half dead, or at least Dingy was.
Mm-hmm.
Because Power, I think, was having to use her own blood to try and heal him because he wasn't all there.
Wow. This guy is kicking their ass then.
And what he said when he left, he was like, I'm going home to sleep. I'll be at your house tomorrow.
Jesus. Well, that does mean that they're alive then,
Yeah.
or that's a plus. That is one cliche line that I kind of hate in manga, is that they always say like, "Oh, if this doesn't kill you, you'll be 100 times stronger." Stuff. It's like it never kills the main characters.
It
You
doesn't
know?
make you stronger, it makes you more scared.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, well,
Like
that almost killed me. Why would I think I've overcome it.
Yeah, and I mean, like characters, for example, like what happened to like I don't remember the only time it was done well, the whole at least that I can in recent memory was with actually Bleach, which was Ichigo because they were like it wasn't the training. Kisuke was like, oh no, if you survive step 1 and 2, we can get to training. You'll be fine. We'll train for 10 days, all good, but you might die trying to get your powers back, and that was a truth. And he almost died. That was an up in the air. That was a gamble, but he succeeded, so they got it back. This whole like the master's always saying, "Yeah, you're gonna die. You know, you might die training with me." Metacabak series did it. I think Naruto almost did it. Did Darius like that? Anyways, like at the end of the day, it was just kind of like, no, that's not gonna. You're not actually going to kill these people. You're not a murderer. You're a good guy. Don't try to
Or
play it off.
presumably a good guy.
Presumably, yes, but I think Blue Exorcist did the same thing, and it's like, man, piss off, you know. Like I guess it's just one of those things that once again we were talking about before with the cliches and the
Yeah.
tropes. Sometimes it's just kind of like
It's
you,
become a
you
big
kind
one.
of yeah. And at the end of the day, like Rayleigh didn't have to do it, and Kisuke only did it when it was when it was a literal life or death. And then it was like the training. I'm not going to kill you. Like you're just going to be exhausted as hell. It was getting your powers back. It was going to fucking kill you. So the that kind of thing, I think they need to let that trope die, along with the body snatching thing. You got to let those two tropes die. Hate body snatching. Hate it.
But yeah, how the chapter ends is that Denji starts thinking back to manga that he's read. And he's
Of
like,
course.
how do you defeat a guy that's really strong? You always defeat them with a smart guy. So we have to use our heads. And then Power's like, oh yeah, we'll beat him with our brains. And so now they think they're going to overcome him intelligence-wise, apparently.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No.
What you do is you go find a dude like Sosuke motherfucking Aizen, and you go up and be like, "Yo, dude, you want to help out with this one?" And he's like, think you're a god. Fascinating." You know, like that's what you need. You don't like no main character ever gets smart. They find a smart character to join them. You know,
Yeah.
like goddamn.
But moving away from Chainsaw Man, I have Satomi Girl, which was a pretty simple chapter. It's mostly the night before the match of Satomi's boyfriend, Satoru, and like he's been up all night. We see a clock that says like 11:30, so like
Okay.
he's not sleeping, which is probably not going to help the match any.
No, no.
And he's been watching some footage on his iPad of like his opponents' previous matches, to get how they do, to see
Yeah,
if
yeah.
there's any openings to their techniques, and he's just like cleaning his gloves, which I was a little surprised about that, but you know. Anyway, he goes out to like get some fresh air, and he noticed, guess who's at the little playground area outside his apartment? It's Satomi.
Uh, Go figure.
She came to see him, and he's like, "Wait, is that you? What?" And then she looks, and it's like, and they just have this cute little interaction. It's like, "What are you doing here?" It's like, So she explains she came to cheer him, that she's going to cheer him on, and wanted to, all that stuff because he's done it to her all, the time during her matches, so she wants to pay in kind.
And
And
that's fair. That's exactly what friends do, right?
yeah, and he goes down there. They have a little more, talk about like, hey, do your parent, like, does your family know you're even here? And it's like, nope, I snuck out.
Oh, good. That'll go over really well.
And she sees his scar on his nose, so he actually does have one. He's not just wearing a bandage for an old wound that's long since healed.
Oh, because we assumed, didn't we assume that he just thought it looked cool or something?
No, I think it
Wasn't
was
that?
out of habit, but I can't remember I want to say it might have been during a sparring match that they had when they were little kids. I
Okay.
think is what happened. I may have to go back and reread that. Um,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
but yeah, so she was like a little when she saw it. So I don't know if she's remembering because, as I mentioned before, like as they were kids, she looked like a little boy, and when they played together, he didn't know she was a girl.
Right.
So
Right.
she would remember that if she was the cause of it. He wouldn't understand why she would know or anything. So
Mm-hmm.
so that
Mm-hmm.
would connect. But anyway, basically, she starts getting cold. She tries to play it off. No, I'm not cold. I didn't. I just sneezed. And he's like, "You want to come to my place?" And then it's just her,
Well.
her cute little blushing face, and we find out the chapter next week is on break. So that sucks.
Yeah, that's one of those things. It's like, as I said before, it's like the One Piece. Every time it goes on hiatus, it's like, God damn it, you know.
Yeah,
But I mean, we found plenty to talk about. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah. We've been
still,
doing this for over 2 hours.
Jesus,
I think we're getting close to 3 hours.
sweet bloody
I
Jesus.
know, and I still have two more, but like Fire Force was fairly simple.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly we just get to see the hideout of Company 8. It's Joker and Lech's hideout from when they were essentially villains.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out where the captain is for their company. He's like in
Okay.
probably the worst prison. It's like where
Oh.
all the violent criminals and terrorists go. I think it was called Fuchu Prison. And
Mm-hmm.
the captain of Company 1 goes to talk to him.
Right.
Or I believe goes to talk. I don't know. I only read the chapter once. Sorry.
Oh,
He
okay.
has a conversation with one of the evil people that recently joined up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, not a good thing that's about to happen because they want to turn Obi, which is the captain of 8, um,
Right.
into one of the combustibles or the infernals.
Well, that's not
Because they have these bugs that if it like lands or stings you or whatever, yeah, you
right.
combust. And I don't like that.
No.
Because he's too good of a character. I mean, he's a bit of a meathead and everything, but he's still a good character. And I don't want him to go out like that. Unless he gets a cool power. Because
Yeah.
he could be a second or third generation.
Yep.
But pretty much anybody that's ever been bitten by these bugs is always a first gen, which is the Infernals. So, but yeah, then it goes to the prison. Obi is he's talking to one of the, I still call them like the white cloaked, but they're also known as like the something of the ash white cloaked or whatever. The naming scheme really threw off around the time that it went to Fire Force because it used to be Fire Brigade of Flames.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
translations changed at some point. There's this one person named Gold who's known as the Butcher, who killed the captain of Company 4 fairly
Uh-huh.
recently. Has this big old metal arm made of gold, and this is the one that came to turn Obi into an infernal.
Blackbeard.
What?
Well, he killed the commander.
Oh, okay.
Or no, I'm just saying it's Blackbeard. He's the culprit.
But yeah, and we get to see this person's face. It turns out it's a woman. We didn't know that until this chapter.
Okay.
And yeah, kind as far as I can tell, they like dropped. The hell is that? You're cooking, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in the middle
Okay.
of cooking. Sorry, bro.
No, I've been hearing things throughout the last 30 minutes or so, and I figured that was the case.
No, I'm making a salad. I'm cooking bacon. I'm barbecuing steaks. I'm doing potatoes. Doing a couple of things.
Welcome to Food Wars Talk with Griever. Eh, except
Craft
real
beer
world.
chipotle barbecue sauce.
But yeah, so that was more or less that chapter, and then finally, this one I can't remember. Have you been reading Record of Ragnarok?
No, I haven't.
More or less, it's a little bit of a flashback for the third round. Kojiro, who's like one of the strongest samurai swordsmen in human history, is fighting Poseidon.
Okay.
He
Oh,
has
that's that one where it's humankind versus the
Yep.
gods.
Yep.
Yeah, I was up to the Thor fight or whatever,
That's
and I
literally the first fight.
yeah, that's as far as I got. Only because when I think it was you and Richard were first talking about it
Mm-hmm.
and promoting it, I was reading it and I was interested, but then I never found a consistent reader for it, or nobody was like dropping chapters, and it
It's
wasn't.
like a monthly series, so
Oh, okay, because it's just not
Manga
on
C
any of my
is where we've been reading it still.
Manga. See, okay, I'll check that out then from now on, because I was intrigued with the series, and actually I could probably catch up with that one for the next podcast next week.
Okay.
Um, I could probably catch up so that
Well, it
when the
won't be
next
out again.
no, you said it was monthly, but I
Yeah.
can certainly catch up
And then
by
by the time that the next one is out,
yeah,
you'll be
exactly,
well caught
exactly.
up. But yeah,
Exactly, because I loved it. Or maybe I passed the Thor fight because I remember Adam and his eyes against Zeus and all that
yeah,
stuff.
that was fight number two. So
Yeah, okay,
so
so I
you're
saw fight
only
number two.
about 1.5 fights, maybe at worst,
Oh,
behind.
okay.
And this fight
Yep.
hasn't concluded yet. But
Oh,
something
okay.
cool happens.
Hmm?
Something we didn't know was a possibility to
Ooh,
do with the weapons, because you know how the Valkyries turn into like the perfect version of the weapon that the person is most accustomed for.
which is the only reason the gods actually have to fight.
Yes. But
Excuse me.
so yeah, I won't spoil this. It was a good chapter. Some people are kind of saying that's a little bullshit with what happened, but I was like, I didn't think it was going to turn into what it did, but I actually
Uh-huh.
kind of saw it like it piecing out the way it did.
So it was foreshadowed somewhat in a sense,
Well,
or
there's a guy that's watching the fight that he fought in life and
uh huh.
lost to,
Mm-hmm.
and he uses a different fighting style, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what Kojiro changes to.
That makes sense.
But yeah,
Um, but
we can
what?
maybe talk about it more
Yeah, we'll
when
have to talk. Yeah,
when the
yeah. I'll have
next,
to.
because it'll make a lot more sense without
Yeah,
spoiling you.
but by the
And
sounds of it, Keishan, I'm on your side about it. When you're saying it's not bullshit. Like it's okay. Like doesn't mean it's great, but it makes sense or it's okay. Like so far it sounds okay to me. But
well, it's interesting because of the Valkyrie. Like,
mm-hmm.
if it was any other of the Valkyries, this wouldn't have worked. Is my thought, because she has a split
Okay,
personality.
okay. But hey, look. So many characters, and I know people are going to hate me for saying this one, but Fairy Tale, Mira Jane, depends on the
Yeah.
translation. She, of course, has two split personalities with two different fighting styles, like two different, like her magic makes her go friggin' I'm a dominatrix, I'm going to kill some bitches. That's okay. We've seen characters with that style in multiple mangas that are fantastic. Split personality always does something. Air Gear, Agito, and Akito. That's a perfect example of a great character with who actually has like three or four personalities actually. Um, but there's a perfect example of a great character, a fan favorite of Air Gear, who has so much personality changes, you know? So, like, and the power difference changes. Even though it's the same body, the fighting style and the power level changes based on the personality. There's nothing wrong with that. It works. So I don't get why people are pissed, but I will definitely catch up by the next time we talk about Akishin. That way I'll... if you could actually just drop a link for me or something.
I will. I
and
will.
then
And you
then
drop a link to Yuna.
oh, Yona.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yona. I suck
Yep.
at names. Sorry.
I always say the Japanese one, yeah, Katsuki no Yona, but it's actually in the Viz translation, it's Yona of the Dawn.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, I just got my second volume today. It came in the mail. Yes, I started collecting those volumes. So, but anyways, yeah. So, what's the next series on the
That
docket?
was actually the last of what I had, which is probably good because of how long this is probably. Because this particular half of the stream has been going for an hour and 30 minutes.
This has been our longest stream to date, ladies and gentlemen. We have gone so long. Of course, Keishan and I, more so me because I'm a tangent lover, have been going on quite a few tangents, talking about different things. And even with One Piece not being here, there were some monthly series that both Keishan and I follow to add to the doctorate this week. And this is what's going to happen with a week-to-week podcast where we don't just talk about the weekly releases, but the monthly ones. Some podcasts course, going to be far longer than others. Of course, we should try, of course, to keep these a little lesser next time, but this is what happened. So, but yeah.
We can only dictate things so much.
Exactly. There's nothing else we can really do.
But yeah. Trying to, wrap things up. Any final thoughts?
Okay, Akatsuki no Yona was a great chapter. It was released like 5-6 days ago. Of course, I have my review on that. Go check that out. Seven Deadly Sins is going downhill harder than Shokugeki no Soma ever could. And yeah, I'm still going to defend it right now for anybody still watching who it was bitching at me in Grimm's Discord. Yes, Sunken Rock has better art than One Punch Man. Yes, One Punch Man is, as Richard pointed out, what a great pun, one parody man, and it doesn't mean I hate it. I'm just saying that the art is half the reason you're all reading it. So anyways, that being said, and don't get me wrong, the art is top tier. It is top tier. I just wanted to point it out that I still think Sunken Rock has better detailed art. It's a better art style. It has better art. Just saying, it's an opinion, guys. You don't have to agree. It's just an opinion. Whatever. But yeah. And also, of course, as I said before to Keishan, I will be catching up with what's that one called? The Immortal Gods one?
It's basically, at least the translation I go for, is a Record of Ragnarok, but it's called, well, you'll know the name when I give you the link. But
okay.
But
Record of Ragnarok.
Yeah, if you key it in, it'll pop up. You'll see the cover art for Adam versus Zeus.
Right, which was, of course, the volume cover, so to speak, or the first cover. But either way, yeah, so I'll be caught up with that next time that chapter comes out, ladies and gentlemen. So Keisha and I will also be able to talk about that. Props to Keisha for catching up with Kingdom, so now we can talk about Kingdom, of course. And One Piece is back next week and everything, so we'll be talking about One Piece as well in this podcast, hopefully. But, of course, Akatsuki no Yona, Dragon Ball, the record of Ragnarok. A lot of these series that we were talking about today will not, of course, be out next week, so the podcast should be a little shorter.
Will be, probably.
Oh, Dragon Ball will be, yes, but either way, a lot of these won't be out, so we'll have a lesser sort of time-wise podcast and stuff. And, of course, internet interruptions and tangents.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, so... Either way, Keishan will probably release this as 2 videos. I'm assuming the other one's already posted to his channel. So you might have to
change the title. Other than that, it should be fine.
Right. So, well, if you guys are interested, just watch it in 2 parts. And next week, it will be back on my channel for number 4 of the weekly
Link to
manga.
his channel down below, people.
There you go. So we will be doing that. And as we noticed on my channel last week, we actually got quite a bit of view count, didn't we, Keishan? So
Thank you,
we're
viewers.
exactly. So we're hoping for, but of course, guys, remember, and I keep plugging it the same way. You have to go to both of our channels on every off week. I'm doing the even numbers. Keishan is doing the odd numbers. So if you still want to follow the podcast, you have to, of course, jump between the channels and every week.
That's how we force you to pull you in.
Exactly. We're being Dark Lords of the Sith over here with our. So that being said, guys, that's all I have to say. Keishan, do you got?
Really, the only thing I have to say is my usual spiel of I stream on Twitch 3 days a week. Tonight being one of them.
Oh yes.
Can't even tell you what I plan on getting done in Stardew, but yeah, I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, usually around between 7 and 8 o'clock Central Time. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week unless something comes up, and yeah.
This has been Griever with your, of course, ultimate opinion, and
this has been Keishan with your less than opinion. Anyway, roll out.